Okay, our final race of 8 today, due off at 5:10, is the Betfair Exchange Amateur Jockeys Handicap, and this is number 1, Bayston Hill. Harriet Tucker taking the ride for Mark Asher.
Needs all weather on a sound surface. It's got a sound surface. 10 from 59 is an excellent strike rate for a horse of visibility, and he's generally been in good form all this year.
5 is Limelighter, Serena Brotherton taking the ride for Sheena West.
Yeah, hurdle winner at Plumpton in 2019. One of the flat wins a year ago. That flat was a mile, and despite winning over hurdles, I think a mile might be his optimum on the flat.
4, Ruby Red Empress. Matthew Ennis is still able to claim 3, and this filly is in pretty good form. Will she handle the ground?
That's a doubt, isn't it? Got off the mark at the 11th time of asking, and apparently improving at Bath, but that was on a sound surface at 1 mile. 10 furlongs on a on a soft surface at a mile. It's now 10 furlongs on a sounder surface.
7 is Jack Daw, not the most straightforward of customers.
No, big prices, shown little in 2 runs for Ollie Murphy. Used to be with Ed Walker, won once for him in 20-odd race career. Very best form for Ed Walker, came with a bit of cuss in the ground.
Number 8 is Beaugeste for Tony Carroll. Sarah Bowen taking the ride.
All 3 wins and very best form was on the all-weather. Outpaced over 7 furlongs on his return lately, so he'll at least enjoy the longer trip here.
2 is Nabhan, who is not getting any younger and is not the easiest to predict.
No, there's more bad days than good days these days. He's lightly raced in the past year, presumably because he's not been easy to get to the crack. 4th in the cellar last time we saw him.
And if we go 12 o'clock to us here, we'll pick up Mrs. Meader, who we haven't seen. Julia Fielden trains her for Nick Child, and Ross Burkett takes the ride.
Well, she's a 13-race maiden, but she's got a chance. That's under both codes. 2-length third at Yarmouth with one of her better efforts, and a repeat of the same mark today would certainly give her claims in a weakish race, really.
Yeah, she's not exposed for this yard particularly,
no.
And Julia trained the dam of this mare, Bavarica, and did well with her as well. And 3 is Highly Approved, who we haven't seen, who's right in front of us here. 6
runs in Ireland. Struggled so far for Ralph Smith. Last at Goodwood a week ago today, a week ago tomorrow. All weather or good ground seem to suit best.
Yeah, she's not proving particularly cooperative either. It's just taken the trainer a little while to get Emma Wilkinson up into the plate. But she's in the saddle now, and the runners are heading out onto the track.
are next from there. They're down at the start, most of them. Mrs. Meader 3-1, Limelighter 7-2 and 5-1. Ruby Red Empress, Beaugest 6-1. 8-1 Bayston Hill, Nabarn 12s, 12s Grandscape, Jackdaw 14s, 50s, highly approved, 3-1 favourite, Mrs. Meader with a 5-10 at Newbury. Amateur jockeys in charge here. That's it from me. I'm going to disappear until Saturday. See you then. Nick Lightfoot will be here very shortly. All yours, Nick.
Angus, thank you, and thanks for your company during the course of the afternoon. Mrs. Meader 3-1. She deserves to win a race, and this is a good opportunity. She's run well here before, and Julia Fielden hasn't had her all that long.
Yeah, and her last run at Yarmouth, even though she's had 13 runs without winning, will be among her best, if not her best. And she's off the same mark today, and is similar-ish conditions. So, yeah, it's easy to make a case for her.
OK, that's Mrs. Meader 3-1. 7-2 is Limelighter. Limelighter's trained by Sheena West, who is here today. Serena Brotherton has been booked, which surely is a
big plus.
Big plus.
It's just the trip. I mean, it's silly, really. The horse did win over hurdles at Plumpton. He ought to be fine with it. At the moment, his best form, I think, has been at 1 mile. We'll see. We'll see what happens now. I mean, maybe as he gets older, he'll... Yeah, the hurdle run certainly offers hope that he should stay.
We're half interested in Bayston Hill here. It's very, very easy to peg this horse as an all-weather specialist because that's where he does his winning. But Harriet Tucker's pretty smart rider for £5 in a race like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be fair, the horse has got some form on turf. I agree. Maybe the all-weather is his best. I think he needs a sound surface on turf, but he's got that. And he's been running very, very consistently. He's also, I say, one of those horses, we've talked about them at better level. 10 wins for a horse of his ability is pretty good.
It is. It is. He just wins.
Yeah, that's an admirable quality, Nick. It is.
It is.
It is. Plenty of horses you get 1 from 20. He's 10 from 59. That's pretty good.
The market is saying that Ruby Red Empress is going to run well today.
Well, certainly improving. Got off the mark at the 11th time of asking. The ground is the biggest worry. It has got bits and pieces of form on a sounder surface, but the win and very best form to date was on soft ground.
And that was really stinking ground that day at Bath as well.
And it takes a lot to go soft at Bath, but it was proper soft ground, yeah.
So this is going to be completely different. They're running some quite slick times here today.
They are.
At Newbury, proper summer flat ground. And they're moving forward for this amateur riders race, the final race. 10 furlongs is the trip. I'd be quite like to see Mrs. Meader win in a way. I think she's due her turn for sure. The last couple coming forward. And with our thanks, we'll head up to Richard.
Thank you, Nick. Yep, Jackdaw's the last one to go forward then for our final event of the afternoon. Amateur riders handicap over 1.25 miles. Jackdaw just requiring a little bit of persuasion to head in the right direction, but seems to be amenable enough. So Jackdaw moving forward will complete the line at the 1.25 mile start for our final event, the Betfair Exchange Amateur Jockeys Handicap. 10 furlongs is the trip. And they're off and racing. So making their way through the blizzard of pollen, etc. In the back straight, Bayston Hill, one of the first to show with Limelighter as they race through the first furlong. Settled in third place is Ruby Red Empress in the quartered colours, just ahead of Nabhan, who races on the outside of Highly Approved, as Bayston Hill is going to cross over and have a lead of a couple of lengths as they prepare to exit the back straight. So it's Bayston Hill who has the advantage. In second place, Ruby Red Empress in the check colours on the inside of Limelighter, dark jacket with the beige stars. Purple colours on the running rail belong to Highly Approved, just ahead of Nabhan. Red, white and blue with the white cheek pieces, and then Mrs. Meader in the noseband, that bright pink jacket. Early on, the back trio include Grandscape for Sophie Smith in the pink cap, yellow and green of Jackdaw, and last of all is Beaugest as the runners prepare to turn back towards home. Bayston Hill out in front, leading by still over a length from in second, Ruby Red Empress. Third now belongs to Highly Approved, who's made a place on the inside of Limelighter on straightening. Mrs. Meader, those bright pink colours, up the centre of the racecourse, on the outside of Nabhan, then Grandscape. A little bit of a gap to Jackdaw and Beaugest at this stage, but the other 7 runners are tightly bunched, and there's still plenty of time here with 3.5 furlongs to travel. Bayston Hill, far side Highly Approved. Limelighter, then Ruby Red Empress, Nabhan. Mrs. Meader looking for a gap amongst horses, now has enough room to manoeuvre. Back to the inside is Grandscape. Beaugest is trying to stay on from the back of the field. Bayston Hill for Harriet Tucker. Narrow leader from Ruby Red Empress and Matthew Ennis. In third place, Mrs. Meader for Ross Burkitt with a length and a half to find. And then Nepan for Jessica Llewellyn. Inside the last, Ruby Red Empress. Bayston Hill trying to join in is Mrs. Meader with 100 yards to travel. Mrs. Meader on the near side. In the centre, Ruby Red Empress. Bayston Hill the far side. Bayston Hill battling back at Ruby Red Empress. Mrs. Meader trying to join them. Three-way go. Ruby Red Empress in the centre, possibly just from Bayston Hill and Mrs. Meader, but they were wide across the course. Judge needed to confirm, clear of Limelighter and Jack Daw.
Oh, absolute cracker. Ruby Red Empress on that evidence has got there ahead of Bayston Hill and Mrs. Meader. You feel a bit for Mrs. Meader because she had to race all by herself this side. The other two were spurring one another on. Really good ride from Harriet Tucker on Bayston Hill, but matched by Matthew Ennis, who's just got one last little bit out of Ruby Red Empress, and on that evidence she's landed a little bit of a gamble, I think, for Sean Curran in the power colour. She was certainly very well supported.
Well, you do feel a bit for Mrs. Meader for the reasons you gave, and a bit for Bayston Hill because he tried so hard to put up another admirable effort, but hats off to the winner who wasn't half game, and she's certainly got the winning habit. She got it at the 11th time of asking, and London Buses she's got in again at the 12th time of asking.
Yeah. And completely different conditions today, as you say. But look at the way she's tanked into the race at this point.
Yep.
But then they all fan out, and it's sort of anyone's for a while.
Yeah, yeah. And Mrs. Meader, to be fair, is tracking. Well, let's get the result officially.
Yeah, confirmed Ruby Red Empress the winner. Bayston Hill second. And Mrs. Meader, well, she'll win a race. She's got to win a race, hasn't she?
She will. I think she's edged this way because she was actually tracking the winner and she could have followed her through, and as a result she has been isolated in the final half of furlong, which you feel was a disadvantage. The other two are almost spurring each other on, aren't they, for their efforts. It's a terrific race, great race to finish. It wasn't the highest quality race of the day, but in different ways they're all likeable, these three. The winner, he dropped his reins. Dropped his reins briefly.
He has, Matthew Smith. That would have cost him, because it definitely cost a little momentum.
Definitely. I mean, so he is the winner on merit, and he absolutely did that. Bayston Hill is one of those horses that, like we said before, you really like. You can see now why the horse has won 10 races, because he really gives it his best shot all the time. He's got nothing ahead of the handicapper, but he just tries very hard. And Mrs. Meader will pick up a race sometime, but the winner's actually probably value for a little bit more than he's won by, because that must have cost him a neck or something.
I don't know if they came close together. I don't know if the winner drifted across the runner-up late on. That appeared that it could be the case on the side on. This will be more revealing. That's where Matthew Ennis, I beg your pardon, drops his reins. Yeah,
possibly
just
right.
A little.
Yeah.
Just a little carried off a true line.
Yeah. Oh, that's where he dropped it. That's there. Yeah. Wow, that would have been a costly drop, wouldn't it?
It would.